What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. And today, this is the first podcast that we do right after my UK trip. And the person behind the trip is Mr. Benny Ong, a fellow Singaporean. Must emphasize Singaporean. So, you are
Second. Am I second Singaporean?
yeah after Chewy lah. After Chewy, yeah.
Honored.
So on top of Chewy, that I think that episode becomes a very Singapore versus Malaysia podcast. But after hanging out with you guys in UK, right, I think the international perspective on your take during the trip, we always have this very perplexed. Like in terms of matter is different. In terms of take between a Singaporean and Malaysia is also different.
It is.
But before we go into that, right, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit on what you do with the audience?
Wow, how to introduce? I think okay. So my name is Benny. I have a podcast with Chicken Genius, Ken Tang, and of course your previous guest Chewy, called Cafe Money. So we talk about finance and everything else. Outside of the YouTube world, I run businesses. So we are in the real estate education space, real estate procurement space, management space, marketing space, production space. Yeah, that's why first thing I ask you is, hey, what's your mic? What's your
And you used to be a wedding photographer.
I used to be a wedding photographer.
How long was that ago?
That was 12 years ago. 12 years ago.
12 years ago. That's a film? No lah.
I start with
Film.
I start there. Yeah, my foundation is film.
Then, I think in Malaysia, like, I think Gavin and Vince, they all know you as every time they mention your name, right, last time before we actually met each other, is that business seafood level.
Yes. So very scary when we talk about all this, because first of all, I don't like the seafood word.
It gave a bad name.
But about 8 years ago, my main focus was coaching and growing business entrepreneurs. So people like Faizu, very good bro now. Back then, attended class together. I was in Malaysia doing business class strategy. But then the last 5 years, I took a very deep focus to build my own business. So I kind of like coach business owner like once a year. That's why I only have a class for once a year. It used to be like a full-time thing, right? Because one of the haters in the past say, you're so good, you do your own business lah. You know, I said, okay lah, I do. And I got stuck there. And I said, no, I really love building my own business, but I still take time to do coaching, because it's still a passion to speak, to help entrepreneurs. You know, it's not easy. You know yourself, it's not easy doing business. So it's always good to meet business owners and friends. Yeah.
Cool. Then when from the coaching, when is that mark, right, that you decided to go into real estate?
So I was in the coaching seminar training space, right, for business owner, but my skill was highly sought after in Southeast Asia, because a lot of people learn from Western style. They come to Southeast Asia and try to use it, become very cringy or very weird, like making Asian do like funny stuff, right? So I kind of like have a unique way of approaching education, how to make it transformational. So what happened was, this whole holding group that I'm building right now, I'm the group CEO, right? The founders, they came to me to hire me as a consultant at first. To actually help them in their business. So they say, hey, I know how to do this, but I don't know how to build it into a program or education. So I was as a consultant and marketer. So that was me, because I was coaching and I own a digital agency, marketing agency. So I was helping people to build their funnels way before funnel become a sexy word. So I helped people build their funnels and their training. I was very blessed to be able to work with some of the brilliant minds in Malaysia as well, like Faizu Rizwan for his training. So I'm very happy because I can get him.
That's the resume part.
Right. But now I consider him as a very good bro. He taught me a lot in business also. It used to be like me sharing, but he has grown next level. So
yeah,
we're good friends.
Just for information, Faizu Rizwan here is the owner, founder of Far Capital, right? The one that I'm a VVIP. They thought that I run the show. No, I'm just the customer only. Anyway, then when you get into this real estate space, right, was it weird for you? Were you in real estate all this while?
So yesterday I posted a photo on my Facebook. So I show you right now. I know the audience cannot see, but I show you, okay? So it was speaking 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I was, okay, wait, the photo is gone, but 10 years ago, I was speaking on stage, right? And my topic, right, was, okay, wait. Okay, it's gone. But my topic was about real estate. And 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I bought into Twin Arcs at Bukit Jalil. So I was already in real estate 10 years ago, just that I bought at a property bubble.
Yeah, what a wrong type.
And then it burst. So the moment I buy Twin Arcs, right, the whole thing burst. I was pretty angry about real estate, right? So actually I gave up on real estate. So I actually thought real estate was the best field because, you know, entrepreneurship, maybe 20% will be successful, 10% or even 5%. So when I teach entrepreneurship, I kind of only want to teach business owner, not pure startup, because most of them will fail.
Yeah.
I don't feel right to kind of train them. I rather they put in the hard work first before they see there any way to grow. But real estate was very different because everybody need to make real estate move. I truly believe so. And in Malaysia, I think it's even more important if they make real estate move coupled with the inflation craziness that's happening. So yeah, so it was a full circle for me. So 10 years ago, I dabbled in the real estate.
And kena burn.
Boom. Right. But you know what's the scariest thing? Why I'm so convinced about real estate is because 10 years later, last year I sold my Twin Arcs, right? I make money. Yeah, I still make money. 10 years.
Last year you sold?
I sold. So,
Yeah.
But I should have sold this year. That's the problem.
You could have sold to me.
Oh, yeah.
We had a bought next door.
Oh, you bought next door? What? As in the project next door?
The project next door.
Oh. But I sold it not at a good price. But my point was, because I always get it tenanted out, I'm lucky to buy into a good developer project. I feel that it's well maintained. So it's always rented out. Even though price stagnate, I kind of make back the money that I put in. So it's almost like forced saving.
Yep.
In a very worst case scenario, by the way, because it was during a bubble burst, right?
Yeah.
So they give me a lot of favor. So my point was, it's not weird, but it's a full circle thing. I wanted to do real estate. Malaysia boo me out by bubble. Now I come back again, right? I do real estate. Is really happy right now.
But when you say that you still make money, is like after divide 3.3, or you just don't close the conversion?
No. So the craziest thing is, if you all know, 10 years ago, it was 2.4. It was not 3.3. It was 1 is to 2.4. Right? So when I sold it, was 1 is to 3, right? Like, was it 3.3? I think 3.1. So after all the Forex losses, I had literally take back the money that I put in.
You just put in.
So, I mean, it's quite crazy, right? Like through a bubble, just renting out, through worst case of Forex issue, I still managed to take back my money. That's how safe real estate is. That's the honest truth. If you buy right.
Yeah, that's the key word. If you buy right, then that's why when I tell people, like, when you just merely get the unit tenanted out at 78 to 80% of the installment, right, you are using bank's money for free already.
100%. Yeah. So I think, and make that be known that my interest rate is different from a Malaysian, because I'm buying a foreign property. I'm a foreigner right now over here. So I'm still breaking even. So I don't think any Malaysian should shy away from buying real estate. In fact, they should
be more aggressive.
Aggressive.
And that's the main difference, right? When I go as a Malaysian to the UK scene, right? The upfront payment of 25%, 30%, it's normal. But as a Malaysian, right, I put down zero. I'm so used to zero down. Even I buy it, you give me more money. Also, we also have deals like that. But like, after the event that I went to, you guys' new event, average Singaporeans all must pay 25%.
25%. So it's a norm that we're paying 25%. But I'm not too sure. Can you use EPF to pay for real estate?
After means that after we sign the papers, then we can go to the EPF to withdraw out 10%.
Oh, okay. So in Singapore, 5% cash. The rest you can pay by your CPF. So kind of, you've been working for like 10, 20 years, you sure have money in your...
Yep.
The government just suck your money every month, right? So you should have some money. So it's a no 25%, or if you are cash rich, you pay 25%. But it's never a case whereby you can take interest-only loan or 90% loan or 100% loan. It's never a case. Unless you buy into industrial real estate, where there was one point I get 120% loan, which a lot of Singaporeans still don't believe it's possible. And I get 90% loan for my industrial. But other than that, when it comes to residential gameplay, we are so used to paying 25%. So I can understand the very big discomfort for Malaysia to think about
Yeah.
times 5.5, 25%, because
Yeah.
the pound is it's not cheap.
So I was looking at Manchester property. Then I was going there, right? For those who didn't watch the vlog, I was there. I was so shocked by first the occupancy rate. They all talk as if like people are lining up to rent the place.
Right.
So that's number one, the shocking thing. The second thing is like, okay, £300,000, not crazy for a fresh grad that is earning 3,000 average per month, right? Then why are they not buying? But Singaporeans, like your whole team, right? Like when I speak to every one of them, right, I feel very normal. Because like everyone has like multiple properties. Oh, here I got one, Birmingham I got one, London I got two. And that's like everybody.
So iherng, I want to share with you, right? You are exposed to a very utopian network background, okay? When you follow us, because most Singaporeans own more than one property. Like that's the truth. They own one, right? But I have a community of people who own multiple properties because we are obsessed with real estate.
That's why when I say the Q, I felt very normal. We instantly click like, hey, what's the interest rate? What's the financing? What's the e-bright? Yeah, can use EPF or not? Cannot. Or then like, what's the loan arrangement like? But
the problem with people who are living there is that if you largely understand consumerism in the States and in UK, right, a lot of people value lifestyle and in the now, and you'll be shocked by they are very okay, like not normal okay or give up in life kind, but it's like purely okay to rent for like they are super okay. That means if I got 3 kids, I'm renting. If I die already, I'm renting. I just rent until I die. Like they're super okay, which is something that is very uncomfortable for Asian perspective, because one of the success trademark, whether you die for it or not, stress is not talked about in Asian society, which therapies is actually very important, but it's a very not talked about field, right? Is people would rather die and stress, but still save money to buy a real estate or to own the real estate, right? They would rather die. I'll do 2 part-time jobs just to pay for the mortgage, right? So the ambitious and the trademark of success to own a real estate is not common in over there. In fact, they rather probably buy 3 more Starbucks than that's the truth. I mean, I'm not hating, but I think the government ought to have a better job of educating financial literacy to more people, right? But it's not happening. Then you say you are shocked, right? Because of occupancy rate. I think Malaysia is about like 70% broad market, not all projects broad market. So in Singapore, we are 96. So I have never seen 98.x% before. So 96 and 98%, there's a huge difference. 96% is that you put it out there, 2 weeks to 1 month, you sure rent out. And 98%, there's a waiting list. That is something that is new to me as well. So like, even if it's like, for me at 96 to 98, right, it's still a new world, because remember we saw a project that was completing, and then the developer was saying, my leasing company was saying that there are 14 people waiting list to, once take key, they need to like run. It's such a crazy world, right? Like you'll never hear this.
And how crazy, right? Is like to be a tenant is worse than us being a buyer in Malaysia. Like I need to submit all my financial documents to get recognized on my safety and my securities. Okay, if you cannot afford, you pay me upfront 12 months plus a guarantor in case you cannot make amends.
So I tell you where it's worse. I haven't started investing there because since we want to talk about international, right? South Korea is worse.
South Korea is worse.
Worse. So we're talking about they had to put 6-month deposit, 12-month upfront payment just to get a unit for student accommodation. So I'm investigating real estate there now. But of course, buying might be an issue, price might be an issue, but there are some countries that are so high demand, the landlord can be lancy. I mean, they can really demand. They can go in and really go, I don't like your profile. Either you pay 12 months or next please, you get it. But so that's what we, in Malaysia, we go, someone come in, right? But the truth is, I'm in the market for 3-4 years already. Not the longest, but long enough to tell that after 12 UK property later, right, some completing, some completed, right, that is evidently true that the housing crisis is so serious, they will never solve it in the next 2 decades in UK. Everybody is migrating over there, moving there, congregating. The government is so crazy here. So we talk about 30%, 25% is a lot of money, right? The government is doing 5% down payment, the rest we pay for you, 50% loan, I bear with you.
That's for the locals, right?
It's for locals and they're still not moving, and that's a big, really cultural issue. They're solving it in financial strategy or rebate, right? But they don't want to say it's a cultural and an education issue because it starts from the mindset. That's what I think.
Crazy. But like when you say UK, after of course did you start your journey in Singapore first, or you should come?
Yeah. So the number one belief structure to me, right, is you need to ace your own country lah.
Yeah.
A Malaysian need to have a very clear game plan of how they gila hatana here lah. They buy 10 lah, they buy 5 lah, they buy 20 lah.
Yeah.
Like they have their own game plan. I'm not gonna preach either way. I think many people have their own way. Right?
Yep.
Either I also do not endorse social housing. Like that's something that I don't play, and I don't think it's fair to play. But once they figure out their local game, then they expect overseas. So for me, I have already maxed out my Singapore game. There's no reason for me to pay 20% buyer's stamp duty that wipes out 10 years or 7 years of my capital appreciation. So just like any Singaporean, if they ever watch actually a lot of Singaporeans watch your podcast.
I think it's a lot of Malaysian in Singapore.
Malaysia in Singapore. So just like I say, fix the... Okay, then that's a weird way. So fix your own country as in Malaysia and Singapore game plan first.
But there's always in between, ma.
Yeah. But you have to fix that first before you go overseas. Are there a few people who are super aggressive, just go for pure high growth real estate and give up on Singapore? Yes, but that's not what I prefer, because it's still good to kind of figure out your own game in your own home ground first, right? That's for me. 2 residential, a few industrial later. Like you have to go out, because you don't want to just because of safetyness, you pay stupid money for safety.
Yep.
In Singapore, like you just, but it's safe, but then you might as well buy fixed D, No point already at some point.
But your country, right, despite all the insane cooling measures, right?
You have such thing called cooling measures.
Got lah, we got. That's why bubble burst, ma. That's why after that thing, then last time Malaysia, we don't used to have a limitation on loans. Right? You buy your 8 property, you still get 90% loan. Right? Last time it was like that.
Okay, now that you say, honest, share some proof. Last time as a foreigner buying Malaysia property is way easier.
Yeah.
Than now.
What's the criteria now? You need 1 million and above. But that's not the hard part. Anything.
Yeah. So I bought at the era where it was 500,000 and above, not 1 million. That's my time lah. Before that, there was even no restriction. But back then, I just show 2 slips of paper. That means my annual income. Photocopy. They don't even know real or not, but it's real lah.
Yeah.
I know real. I say camera.
Yeah.
And then they just like, okay, here's a loan. Now is show your bank statement, your last 6 month pay slip. If you're a Singaporean, do you have contribution to CPF? So I would say Malaysia is definitely improving, as in they are really catching this to worry for second wave of bubble. And this bubble is sadly created by foreigners.
Yeah, the Dongfang, the Chinese. Like Johor is a classic. And
I will even say Singaporean. Of course, Singapore is so small group compared to every Asian country, right? But investing here. Because, you see, what if someone default the loan? They don't come to Malaysia.
Yeah, there's no way, right?
So that's the big problem that they are catching up, which is very good, because the last property bubble, a lot of people just give out on their real estate.
Yeah.
I just don't come back.
And it's very tough to even buy it via auction. Like the processes, right, to make sure that you are not going to come back. The processes to make sure to clean it up in terms of ownership before somebody else can own it.
So it's got stuck real estate, I suppose. Got stuck. That means a loan that nobody want to pay. So it's very bad for the economy, I'll say.
Last time, I think when you come and buy, I was a developer back then. So our favorite was to just build for on block, and the whole block we sell to foreigners.
Hey, you heard of the project called City of Greens?
God.
How is it?
Very, very close.
How is it?
Luckily, you didn't buy.
No, I pull out. I pull out. I said something.
Lucky.
I said something weird.
I did a review on it. So like in terms of location, Bukit Jalil, they are not wrong. But which side of Bukit Jalil?
Yeah, which side? Okay. Yeah.
So your side, the Twin Arc side is like amazing. The other side is still like
strange.
Yeah, whatever movie, whatever mall, whatever international school there, whatever else that was promised didn't happen. But now there are several projects coming up around it. There maybe it will come up, but like I will give it like 8 years.
I see. Okay.
Lucky you didn't get.
That's good. Yeah.
But in terms of tenants, then because the rates are cheap, you get a lot of value. Like if you work in Bukit Jalil,
Yeah.
the rental there it's so, and there's a very nice seafood place there.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Because I didn't start as KLCC, right? So I kind of have a different understanding to the Malaysia market, and because I run my business over here, you know, and you ask any Singaporean, you say, oh, SS1, SS15, SS, nobody got any clue what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But because I was here way back doing business, having friends here, so my kind of knowledge in Malaysia or exposure is slightly different. Yeah, and that's why as a Singaporean, I actually think that there's reason to buy Malaysia property as Singaporean. Although, yeah, actually there's a reason to buy, yeah, but you need to know how to buy, I guess. You just walk into a showroom, even though they give you discount,
It's still not the best deal yet.
it's still not best deal. Plus, you might be buying into a location that is just overhyped, like you say, like because everybody will sell these are that school this township everything is a township now in Malaysia.
That's the classic examples, right? Like during our visit in UK, we went into some developer office, right? Whatever material that was presented by the salesperson, all of them were buying it. Wow, so cool! What a train! Then after that, then we all go do our site visit lah. Then they say that the new train station is going to be completed like September,
Yeah.
right? Then you guys just walked off. My first nature is I will go inspect whether is it true or not. Because like you tell me 9 months, in few months time it will be completed. You say only ma. But then like for the whole group of Singaporeans, like, we have full trust.
Yeah.
And that was the main difference. I realized that
I feel that is exactly the difference, because in Singapore, the master plan by the government will turn out one.
yes.
They show the jewel is this shape, then really happen in this shape. That means confirm happen. And by the way, when they announce, they don't announce for election sake. They announce and they want to have a track record of, I will definitely build what I announce no matter what happened, right? So we are very used to that culture. And of course, we're investing in UK, and we are very spoiled in that culture whereby these are mega giant landlords that have billions of reserve. They don't have progressive payment, by the way.
Yeah, all full cash.
Because they are so rich, as in the developer are so rich, they don't even care about your progressive payment money. So you buy a property, put down payment, that's it. 3 years later, then you talk about owning it, right? So of course, that is also our strategy to choose all these big time developer. I mean, there's not saying there's no small one, but there's But when it comes to Malaysia, I guess that's why a lot of Singaporeans become gullible. Because we are so used to like someone say something, then it happen. What you say, you're a developer. What do you mean? What happened?
That's why when they come across a master plan in UK, wow, master plan this one got how many 100 acres? This one, like, I visit every master plan every other week. So and every of them have the same punchline one.
It's the issue, right?
Yeah. So then when I dig down further after attending the seminar, also the trustworthiness towards data that you share with me, like UK has an audited rental data.
Audited rental. They cannot at the showroom. It's higher level than Singapore, by the way. Singapore don't even need to be audited. But Malaysia is really a surveyed rental data. UK. Surveyed rental data that they have to publish and citation on it before they can put it on a brochure. I mean, but of course that comes from a country being very open and the data is very clean. It's quite hard to probably do it here. I suppose no matter how much.
So that is something that I, as a Malaysian going over, right, culture shock. Like we went there like 7 days. Every day was shocked by something else. It's like, huh?
It is, right. It's shocked also by how we respond. I think you got shocked by the stability of real estate, because it's split very differently when it's 98% versus 70%, right? It's a slight different play, right? With cash also, slight different play from no cash. I mean, it's just the worry is a little bit different. So for us in Singapore, we have a government plan of the next 20 years. But to us, it's very amazing to see how big developers, in partnership with council, in partnership with land, to really have a 20-year game plan and actually coming true. Because these developers are so rich, their land banking is like 15 years worth, 6,000 homes, 7,000 homes, right? So what happened is that you see our investment strategy, we focus on capital appreciation self-created, even within by the developer. So because they have a KPI to keep marking up their unit over the next 15, 20 years, right? So within that project alone, which the project is 7,000 homes across 20 years, right? Which is not the 4 tower with a lot. Not.
Yeah, they did 20,000 homes, right? Doing like two project out there.
Yeah, not the not the famous Jalan Ampang there. A lot, not the kind. So I mean, homes, shorter building, right? So essentially, they created their own capital appreciation within it, right? And because of rental, 6-7%, it actually lift up the real estate. So that kind of predictability is what I like when I invest in UK. Because I do not get government pulling cooling measures. In Singapore, you cool, but I want it to cool. You know, my next generation, my kids won't be able to buy real estate. By themselves. I don't want them to go to the papa money or mama money. You know what I mean? Like it's like you need to figure out yourself, right? So it's good that government is creating this so that we don't become Hong Kong, I would say. But when it comes to them, my efficiency of my money is just not smart to invest in Singapore.
So like when you get from Singapore over to UK, right? What's the main rejection of people don't invest in UK?
Main rejection is definitely the biggest. We talk about not strategical or number, right? It's just familiarity. Even though we are a colonized country, so we are more or less familiar with UK law in a way. We're English speaking, but the fact that it's a foreign land does add that kind of risk to retail investor, because the difference in Singapore and Malaysia, I can tell you straight up, the people who are going to buy UK property in Malaysia, we have met some of them, they are really Datuk level, they own 30 Malaysia property, they own land in Malaysia, they have land banking in Penang, so to them, investing overseas is not new, right? It's just investment, right? But for Singaporean, the target audience that we're reaching out to, they are investing in UK property, right? They are retail, government job, or like the regular folks trying to invest outwards, right? So it's very new concept to invest in foreign land. And because they don't understand the stability of 98%, right? And how a country is led by, Malaysia is led by investors. Malaysia property. So you have amazing company like makeover guys also, like specialize in renovation.
The market is so big that
they are specialized in letting company agents for investor units and all that, right? So in Singapore, 90% of us are homeowners. So it's very rare to have a big support system of how it's supporting investor unit. So we keep thinking, right, if we go overseas, it had to be us. Like we had to find a tenant, how to collect the rental. So that becomes a second barrier whereby the country do not expose us into investor-centric business. Like there's no commerce that surround like investor-centric. It's just real estate agent helping you, that's all in Singapore. But in UK, I mean, we just don't even talk about UK. In Malaysia, the business is more diverse. You have like people who take care of rental, people who renovate, nice but cheaper cost, like smart things. Like Singapore, we don't have that. So because of that, that adds a second layer of infamiliarity. Not understand the support behind very big letting agency that already managed with 1,000 unit in the vicinity that you're investing. So it's not 1,000 unit everywhere. Like so these are really very powerful letting agency that knows how to get the best tenant. Walk in, they really screen through. And also, most importantly, we do not deal with social housing issue, which a lot of people say, oh, social housing project so cheap you should buy, right? But the issue is that you can collect the rent guaranteed by government. Sounds good. But when they leave the place, your place is trash. So you want to spend 10k pound again to renovate or 20k, so it's not worth it. So we don't deal with that. We don't deal with tenant profile that we don't understand. So we only invest in tenant profile that right now, after thousands of investment history or across economies that I've seen, right, we barely have an overstayer. Because either they pay upfront rent or there's a way to vacate them. Plus, here's the best part. There's rental insurance. You never heard before, right? This first time I hear.
How I pray they will be.
Because, the insurance product is only created when they can make money. Because it's betting on people's death, sadly, and betting on people's inconsistency to pay throughout. So some people drop out when their insurance, right? So insurance is always on a certainty market, right? Or ill-disciplined market. So because of that, when they introduce insurance into rental, right, that means if you don't get paid, the insurance will come in to pay your rental. That shows that the country is so stable in rental that they can afford to create such product to make additional money for people who are just overly worried. So if you're worried, just buy insurance. But actually, don't need one. You should get rental.
Yeah, look, by right, you have their 12 months with you. Then they get rental.
Not all cases you have 12 months, but some cases you get the 12 months.
So what's the, like, your portfolio of your investors like right now? Like how many people are buying?
We have across more than, I would say, ourselves personally with us. We run it like a community style because we are not an agency that represents developer. We are using agency as a license because Singapore need a licensed agency, not like Malaysia. They go to a developer, they can cut a deal, right? So Singapore is like, everything is by the book one. That's the problem with this country. That's a good thing also, right? So we're using it as license, but the main part of how we do it is we call it port-based investing. So we call it the Billionaire voice. So across the last 4 years, we have more than 400 over units that has been gone through this process whereby we aggregate as sales. Not to tier 3 developer, that's also a disclaimer because it's very easy to go to tier 3 developer, like Malaysia. Anyone dying can do. The hardest part is to convince a tier 1 listed developer to say yes to a discounted deal.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part. So we perfected the system of able to find an elegant way for them to, in Chinese we call 下得了台 which means they don't look like they are giving discount.
Yeah.
Right? And also, it's through a private launch. So it's a covert launch. So on the market, they don't know they are doing a discount on their unit.
Yeah.
I would say 400 over units has been done this way. Averagely 5 to 10%, which is low compared to Malaysia real estate, but it's high in the UK perspective.
That's why
value.
That's why when during the London, like there was one day I was requested to dress really well, so I dressed my best, which is a shirt. Everybody was dressing like going to prom, like everybody was so well dressed for a meeting. That's all. I thought there was like some gala or whatsoever. No, it's just for a meeting because everyone else in the room dressed better.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
And every day they dress like that.
They dress like that every day. Yeah.
So then,
people stress to work together.
Then every day, then the way they compare is like me being back to uni, listening to foreign lectures. Then after that, they brought us to like some century-old restaurant in Chelsea. Chelsea is like the Orchard Road. It's like the Bukit Bintang. Okay. Yeah. Then they order things like don't need to look at price one. And when they explain their portfolio, like just now you say the land banking, right? Oh, we just put in like 500 million pounds to withstand it for the next 7 years. 500 million pounds times 5.5, right? That's a company of developer in Malaysia already.
It's really scary the amount of money they have because these are, I would dare to say, it's old money because it's money accumulated over years and years of building, right? And land that bought so cheap because they got money to play 20-year game plan. It's so scary that you speak to someone over there, right? Their entire career start and retire, right? And the development haven't finished. I met before. Like, so they started in this project. So they retire, right? They haven't finished building because the land banking is so huge, right? That your one career can just stay there and develop and see come to like fruition or something.
Yeah.
Which is very uncommon.
The resume like one project.
One project. Like legit, one project. So the thing about that is that right now we are facing an issue. So there's always challenges when it comes to doing deals in UK, right? Let's put a disclaimer. We are not talking about third tier developer or the archipelago, the funny people, right? So the top tier listed company. The problem is right now they just released a news. I mean, you're first to hear that they have issue right now because they're selling too fast.
Selling too fast.
They're selling too fast. You ever hear this in Malaysia before?
I got schooled by my Tan Sri before.
Oh really? Because you
I sell too fast.
Then they're not really to adjust the price out.
Right.
So that's the problem they're facing right now. So because working with people like us, we help them to create their earlier phase for success, right? But the downside is that when they sell too fast, their margin is thinning.
Yeah.
Because they are so rich, they don't need to sell fast. They have no reason to sell fast. In Singapore, there's a huge reason to sell fast.
Yeah.
The government is gonna
penalize you
so badly as a developer if you don't sell out your project within the next few years, right? So I mean, putting all the technical terms aside, so there's a reason. But in UK, these guys, they have no reason. In fact, if they sell fast, the second biggest problem right now is to buy land. Yeah, because everything is all because land deal. Okay, so one of the land deal, if you remember, we're hearing It took them 15 years to get the land deal.
Yeah.
50 years, someone's career, just to get that land finally, okay, can build it. So that's their problem right now. So I'll dare to say that I'm always in market when there's huge opportunity for growth. If one day the UK market shuts, that means it's not good enough for new investor, then I'll make it a very bold claim, because all these people will reap the rewards, the earlier ones. Just like when I was in Singapore endorsing about industrial real estate, everybody was laughing at us. Why would people buy a 34 years, 38-year lease, 40-year lease real estate? But we saw the gap. So about 1.5 years ago, we make a very big statement that the game is over. So most of us make average of 20 to even 40% annual return. So the one that I sold in the beginning of the year this year, I make about 43% year-on-year return. Yeah. But it don't happen overnight. And nobody predict COVID. So I estimated it to be 25%, which is very high year-on-year. But of course, COVID would make everything went crazier. But my point is, if there's no evergreen product, that means if suddenly Malaysia change a new policy, and it becomes a game for Singaporean that they can play, right, then I'll openly endorse. But now it's not. Now it's So I think contextually, what people need to understand is, you might be hearing this podcast in year 2023 or 2026. 26 the market might be
okay. I think they're evergreen.
But it might be different. Because it might not be evergreen. It might be a point whereby my point.
It's a timing thing.
It might be a point whereby it's super safe product, which I will not do it anymore. Because when it's ultra safe and growing at 1-2%, it's just rich people putting money for fun. I mean, it's no longer making solid returns anymore.
So this is the ultra rich. Like when you have a lot, you just make a little bit for stability. But if we don't have enough, then we need to make our money make more lah.
Yeah. So now is the time in UK, I say, but I don't know about 4-5 years later. I mean, that's what I want to put it out there lah. Because you don't know, man. Someone watch this video 10 years later, then.
And that's a very important point also during the forum. We have like UK perspective, Singapore perspective, Malaysia perspective, right? Everything is governed by a policy only. When these guys, now like before the talk 3 days ago, they announced that foreigners now need to pay 60% extra stamp duty.
Yeah.
If you want to buy Singapore property.
Second one, crazy.
60%. And then Malaysia, like we jack up to 1 million, then Selangor, not enough, because Selangor 1 million costs everyone, then jack up 2 million. Then it kind of slows down a little bit. In UK, 0, anybody can buy anything.
Right now.
But it's just one policy away. Let's say
one policy away.
Minimum, we have 500,000. Then a lot of game all change with it. So the earlier adapters, earlier buy.
Like I mean, the sad truth is, I was so bothered by the administration work in my Malaysia property and sold it off, right? But if I were to reverse back time when, like maybe even just 1 year ago, I don't know whether is it a good move to sell away, because I could have just hold it long term and then just let it ride.
But that one is freehold.
Ouch, you don't rub it in. So that's the problem with when you don't work with people who know, because I was alone. I was doing it alone.
Yeah.
I was trying out. I was trying to see whether it works or not. And when I sold, I was ill-informed also, honestly, because I just don't know. I mean, someone agent approached me, say,
this one good.
No, say you want to sell or not? I go like, okay, like got people buy, okay, sell. I mean, like I don't know the market, right? So I might be this like so high, like I got no clue, right? Yeah. So that's the problem with not knowing the on the ground folks, because everything on paper can look extremely good or extremely bad. But if you don't know the on the ground folks, right, you put the wrong bet. Because the thing about it is that probably in some Malaysia property, on paper it might not look very good, but the on the ground folks know that it's a snitch, right? It's a good deal. You get my point here, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between a product and marketing, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's not doesn't mean it's not marketed well. It means it's a bad product. Yeah. That's what I see.
So after like the UK thingy, then what are you guys now looking into?
Okay, so UK is still our focus for the next 3 years to 4 years minimally, because we just see the housing crisis to be so crazy. It's not going to catch up in the next 5 years at least. But I don't want to put too long of a horizon. You cannot be complacent in investment, right? not saying that when you buy early, you need to sell in 4 years. I'm saying if you buy now, you can hold it as long as you want, but I don't know about future. What we are venturing into right now is our Vietnam real estate. Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah, so the misconception will be buying Vietnam high-rise condominium. So we are not doing that.
Okay.
We are not endorsing, and we think that cannot buy. Because first of all, the unit ownership is very important, because in a country whereby it's not, maybe I'll just say, runs with a different
Land governance.
Political structure.
Yep.
It's not a full democracy. So really cannot go to the foundation paperwork to say if you fully own it. Although they practice like they fully own it, but over the last 5 years, I've seen big enough developers, Singapore developer, burn a lot of money in Vietnam before to know that as a retail investor, I don't want to go in, right? However, I saw a very interesting game, because at the back, we have a development back end. I have about 30 staff in Vietnam, 20 plus staff in Vietnam who does development, website and all that. So we have been doing this, my partners have been doing this for more than a decade. So we are very deep into the Vietnam market. We saw an opportunity to buy shop houses, like small units. Like, I mean, whether you call it terrace or shop, it's subjective. I mean, it's a terrace unit that we can refurbish it to do co-living. And the co-living returns are at least 3 times better than Singapore co-living returns. So a lot of people in Singapore are crazy over like, oh, co-living, rent to rent. You heard before?
Yeah,
rent to rent, right? But it's very bad margin in Singapore. Malaysia, rent to rent, you die lah. Don't do politics. But in Singapore, they will intro. But what I realized is that in Vietnam, I get a 3x return for rent to rent, and we are not ready to share more.
Because you're just testing it out.
Yeah, but we're always putting our own money to test it out. And if you spoke to Chewy, I'm not too sure if she tell you, I also just bought into a Bali.
Yeah, she was rubbing. You want to join us or not, Bali?
Bought into a Bali estate because we are looking at returns of 17 to 23% year-on-year return, and there's a game behind it. I share more. So you can actually buy a 20-year-old or 20-year-old project. Halfway through, because of the contract, you can do a lease extension. So you buy 20-year-old lease, you rent at 20%, I say rental you. 5-10 years in, you can sell it at 20 years still. 25, even longer lease. So end up you have a mature business because there's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
They have a good returns, and there's a longer lease on a mature area, right? And if you buy the right land at the right area, right? So we are looking at a very strong upside, or at least 20% return a year. So that is my, I would say, investigation using my own money lah. Because it's not something that I endorse or teach, but I'm going forefront to throw my own money. Very pain.
Yeah.
But hopefully it work. Yeah.
Like, how much are we talking about, like Bali home?
Bali, I use Sing dollar. You help me convert if you don't buy.
Yeah.
Okay, I can use RM. Actually, quite good. Okay, so it's about 1 point. Okay, so the cheapest one we are looking at 500 RM, 500k RM to 600k RM, the cheapest one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not but full cash lah, right?
Full cash. Problem is full cash. The one that I bought, the one that me and Chewy crazily go and do, right? Because we are making the 5-room villa, giant pool in the center with a seminar space where people can do full retreat over there.
Yep.
We bought down a domain to build like the entire whole concept, right? The one we are looking at is about 1.8 million RM.
Full cash, include renovation and all.
Full cash, all in, yeah.
So when you buy, it's like bare land you build, or
so that's the game, right? So if someone is looking at it, my quick advice is do not buy land to build, even though you save money. Now you get into building risk, because you don't know their delay or they complete or not. Quality risk.
Yeah.
Next is land risk. Yeah. Because maybe all the people are not done.
Yeah. So compliance risk.
Then regulation risk. Then bribery also become a big issue if you don't get it right. So a lot of people keep saying, oh, buy land, build, you can save money. But the thing is, if you buy land, you build, it takes 2 years to build, for example. Then you're also having an opportunity cost of 2 years of money stuck.
And the risk within that 2 years, anything can happen.
Anything happens. So end up, you are saving, like, you know,
pennies for the dollar.
Yeah, pennies for a dollar, right? And you expose yourself to so much risk. So like I say again, let someone make the money. It's okay to let someone make the money, right? Because they rightfully bought the land early and built it, right?
Yep.
But go in, especially in a foreign land, not the highest return asset, but the safest way of doing investment. I give you an example. A lot of people in UK are endorsing student accommodation. Because rental is like 6-7% to 9%. But I 100% don't believe any retail investor should invest in student accommodation. Look at what happened in COVID. Gone. Yeah. Because you need to look at a market, right, whereby you're measuring it based on a classic rental returns. If you go to a developer, all they share with Airbnb return actually very scary.
Yes.
Because they know their real return
Not presentable.
not presentable. Yeah. So I always look at real return first. That's the most honest perspective. Can you rent it to student? Maybe not wrong, but always look at it in the most classic way first before you go and in Singapore there's a word called zeng. That means go and modify. That means like Airbnb, add those things, right? So strip away all those things if you are new investors overseas. Go for the most classic. I buy a unit, I rent out to someone 1 bedder or 2 bedder, and they pay me 6%, or in UK 6% rental yield. That's it. Let a leasing company handle. No funny business. Yeah.
Then like more of a mindset thing. Like having portfolios all around the world, right? Not stress me. Like okay, so the question comes from a place of like I have a portfolio of Malaysian properties.
Yeah.
Then everyone's like, you not stress me? Then okay lah, right? Everywhere is a phone call away, everything is so when I go to UK, we talk about Singapore, then like if I were to think about owning a Bali, owning a UK, right? Because soon I have a benchmark when I hit my portfolio that I'm going over. Like a Johor property that I have a very painful experience on. Water leaking, it's a lot of problem for me already.
Johor.
But then like for when I speak to your team or your colleagues, right, everybody's like, hey, just make a call, like everybody's gonna help me one.
Yeah.
I think that's why from your perspective, right, how do you feel by having everywhere?
So I'm gonna say something. It might not land very pleasant, but I think it's a very important message for people to hear. So today when you order food, do you look at the right side on the menu or the left side on the menu? The right side being the price. Do you look at what you want to eat? That's my real question. Because the truth is, if you do not take care of money, then every day your decision is all about money. So you're going to be stressed no matter what. You either stress in all your meals, with your kids' education choice, with your holiday choice, with your enjoyment choice, or you are stressed in building a portfolio. You have to choose where you put your stress. So a lot of people say, Benny, aren't you very money-minded? Like every day talk about money, investing. I mean, I love to talk about money. I literally have a podcast called Cafe Money. Right? So I told him that if I don't choose the time to be money-minded, then I'll spend my whole life being money-minded. Because everything is about money now. I cannot even eat what I want to eat. I have to look at maybe this because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So to me, real estate is slightly stressed. But second perspective is compared to business stress is way lesser. Like honestly, running a business is a lot more stress. So as a business entrepreneur, I would rather retire having real estate than running businesses. As self-employed or as someone who is really working a career, you have to be stressed no matter what. Sometimes your promotion is not determined by you.
Yeah, it's by a person.
It's by a person. But you can easily put more effort on your own real estate while enjoying your job. Don't quit and become an entrepreneur and then like burn all your money. That's the worst thing to do. Honestly, I was telling a lot of people, if I have a stable job, I'd rather come up with a more robust real estate game plan. It's because I have a very dynamic business. So I keep my real estate simple. So to me, you're going to be stressed no matter what. I mean, that's life, right? I mean, honestly, if you don't stress yourself in the gym, because when you go gym, not
fun,
not enjoying drink coffee, like go gym is perspire and sore, right? Then you're going to feel the pain in the hospital bed. You say life, you choose where do you feel the pain, in the gym or the bed. You choose your personal life, you are very stressed, or your financial life, you just put some stress, put some effort to figure it out.
Biggest poison.
That's my take, man. Like it's
wow
to it. Yeah.
Mic drop. Right. Well, that would be a very good clip. So, like, how do we end this? In your perspective, right? Like now, like just you say you master your own region first, your own domain first, then only you look out, right? Singapore for foreigners, don't even look at it lah. Then like for now, it's a UK, Vietnam game, not yet, Bali game, not yet, but I surely look forward to it, the collaboration. And here also want to like shout out, like, thanks for having me in the UK trip. it was a very, for people who knows me, like, Sean in UK, he will never travel and only property, yeah, maybe like he will go there and see. And throughout that trip, I felt so normal because I was speaking to the unnormal people. Like, everybody is like,
yeah, we are weird.
yeah, everybody is like, I thought I'm a workaholic until I got there lah. Then
Crazy, right?
yeah, crazy. And by knowing that all the portfolio of all the founders, all the staff, right? Oh, it's amazing to see with so much that you say they own. Technically, you don't have to work really well at their wealth level lah. But why? That's the like one of the first questions every day I have for the first 3 days. And then we go to the MU match lah.
Yes, and very good, very good.
Yeah. So then like what drives you all was the first question that I was trying to solve the first 2-3 days. But until the seminar last week, then only I know why. And when I go to a seminar, it's again you all look way more normal. Everyone else everyone, how many of you have multiple properties in Singapore? My game was stuck at everybody striving for only one HDB.
Yeah,
that's my reality of a Singaporean.
it is, right? Yeah,
but
that's most Singaporean, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are like the creep. But then this creep means the top tier and not the creepy creep. But then this one, right? And they are still learning and they are still gearing up more and they are still asking me, like when they come to me, hey Sean, you like a guy from Malaysia, you got talk I want to attend your seminar, can how to join your inner circle, buy more. And I'm like, join my YouTube channel. They got nothing else to offer, which is insane. If you were to the common theme of the property talk here, right? Like, what's your first property like?
For
Your life first property.
when I bought my first property,
Yeah.
how is it like? As in,
What was it?
my first one?
Yeah.
My first one was the Bukit Jalil.
Not Singapore.
Not Singapore. My first one was
That was your first.
that was my first because I got married late, so I'm not eligible to get a HDB back then when I was much younger. Yeah.
Wow, what a waste.
This is a Malaysia real estate how
Born wrong side of the country.
no, but honestly, then after that, what I did very boldly, which a lot of Singaporeans don't do, is I kind of like really invested my whole life in entrepreneurship. So I don't want to take a cent out, and I was just investing in business day in, day out, right? And property was second to me because I really wanted to build a good business career, right? And then when it came to opportunity in Singapore, I was a very late Singapore investor. I invested about 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Like I was very late Singapore real estate investor for my age, right? A lot of people will be like, they really got a lot of they got property and all that. But what I did was even crazier. I ran where I stay.
Currently also?
Yeah. A lot of Singaporeans wouldn't accept that because all my money is plugged to high growth real estate. A lot of people were laughing at me back then, They say, Benny, you should have buy a condo. Ha ha ha. Why do you buy a stupid, dirty, ugly real estate industrial property, right? Yeah, that probably flips 2.5 times my money. I mean, so I guess I become because of my business experience, I become very clear about how I grow my portfolio. So I no longer attach myself to I need to stay where I own and all that. So I have a very crazy game, but I stay at useless asset. Beautiful asset, they don't make money. I rent them. You get it? That's where I stay, right? But I buy into very optimized rental return. I got a bulk deal in Singapore, which you never heard before. I got 4% discount from a Singapore real estate, which is never heard before. Bought it in, is not stable to me, to be honest. Cannot grow family, I'm too small already, right? But my rental yield in Singapore is 5%. You tell me who have 5% in Singapore real estate? Almost
5% is very high in Singapore.
Very high. Average at 2-3. After COVID now it's about 4. I'm achieving about 5. Yeah.
And after the rental double, it's still like 4 only. Because the price is too high already.
It is very crazy, the price, yeah. Because it was 2 to 4%. Double, 2%.
Yeah.
So rental market is really not strong in Singapore. In the past, because of some government issue, they not issue as in the government got issue, is they created a cooling measure.
Oh, okay.
That actually backfire to me, to be honest, and now created a huge Singapore real estate growth. It sounds crazy. Nobody predicted that. So we predicted that before it got started. They say you cannot own a second property until you sell the first one. Back then is you buy, before this one you take key, then you sell. Now is you have to sell, then you can buy. You understand the difference?
Yeah.
Last time is you can still stay here until you want to take key yourself, right? Because of that, a lot of people sold and buy condo. Giant pool of people went to the rental market because they all sold. So they had to rent now. So
While waiting for the condo.
waiting for condo. So now because the rental high, when rental is high, rental is a function of capital appreciation, more people going to buy at a higher price. So end up that move created the next height of capital appreciation more than anything. Yeah, we predicted that. We say once you drive rental market, there's no way real estate price will go down.
Yep.
Because when rental is strong, people can afford to buy more expensive. Because it's always about can you cover your mortgage, right?
Yep.
So that was what happened. So for me, what I do is going back to the original question, is I choose rent where I stay. I buy into assets that flips my money very fast. Why I buy Bali is because talking about 20% year-on-year return. My industrial was supposed to be 25. Luckily, it was at 40 plus. It's not predicted at 40 plus. Nobody can predict 40 plus. Then my UK property is growing at 15 to 17% year-on-year. It's more stable. So this is my portfolio right now. I have a very clear game plan of retiring at 8 figures, $6, done. So I know where I'm going, and I'm not here to listen to anybody who is not informed about how to grow real estate, right? Because you know what I mean? The biggest person who have a lot of people say, hey bro, don't go on debt, be debt free, right? Then they say, hey bro, you need to save money, very important. You ask them, hey, how much you have?
Yeah.
That's usually then you ask a financial advisor to tell you.
Their point is to not lose money.
Ask a financial advisor then they keep telling you buy
FD lah.
all the thing, right? Hey bro, what's your retirement fund? Because they are salesmen. That's different. So I don't speak to salesmen anymore. Speak to people who really own property. That's why you thank us, but we actually really thank you because we don't want to fly a salesperson down to go to UK with us, because what we really want to hear is a true blue Malaysian who is gila over real estate, right, and very deep in real estate, but how you feel about UK. So we need to thank you actually, because our goal was not to bring you go menu match. That was a surprise to me. That was a surprise. The menu ticket come as a surprise to me. Another day, another story. But my goal is to hear from you. How would someone live in a completely different environment, different rental market, different exposure to loan, and how you see UK property is what we learn so much from. Yeah, so it's both way, bro. It's not you come, and thank you, because only at the trip I realized you don't really like to fly like me. Okay, so I'm very thankful that you can for the trip.
Was 17 hours there. 5 a.m. to 5 a.m.
And then it's disrupt work, disrupt family time. It's a lot of like price. People don't understand that we are paying. Yeah.
But all for the sake of property. And I guess that's all for now. I think you and Chewy will be back soon. Almost an hour already. Almost an hour. Like another one, yeah. But based on the whole thing, I think we got way more things to share. Do stay tuned for all the vlogs. Like episode 2 is dropping soon. A very different perspective, like what you all want to see, right, is all within the vlog itself. But if people wants to, like, now after I announce, right, I go to UK, come back, right, I become like a UK ambassador. Right?
Oh, sure.
But again, I'm spoiled with the curation of these things already. So whatever you guys show me, right, all hyper growth on, like, is this not UK, right? It's the small margin of
his handpicked, because you don't just invest because broad market like Malaysia can buy, but you die, you go.
Yeah. It's only that 1-2% that can really buy. So if people want to buy, I don't know whether there's a membership or whatever, but how do they get access to your?
So we are actively growing in KL right now. We have a headquarter that's 3,500 square feet, not the biggest, but it's at it's in the middle of between KLCC and Pavilion. I forgot what's the mall. Kenangan International. Kenanga. Pardon me. Okay, so as a Singaporean pronouncing Malay. Okay. So Bahasa. So for me, we're going to be serious here. What we do is we usually have campaigns and events every quarter. When we find the right product, we go to do a Southeast Asia exposure. So in Singapore, then Malaysia, then Hong Kong. So we're going to land one in Malaysia very soon. So if they're interested, I can post a link in this podcast.
Yeah, they can drop a link.
I think a lot of times it's not about like going to roadshow, but it's just meeting people. If they can come down and meet us to hear directly from us about perspective, but provided they understand that UK is not suitable for everyone. they should be figure out to me it's the integrity level must be, they need to figure out their KL game first.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
not figure out, there's a big issue lah. Correct. Then they want to hedge against RM, and they know that is something that they want to go for, right? Then I think it's suitable lah. I think you need to add that layer in. I think it's very important to do that.
Because like I'm still figuring out my down payment. So it's okay, this is a classic one we end here. 300,000 Manchester unit. 20% down is 60,000. Times 5.5 is 330,000. So if you are not within your fourth or fifth property ownership, right, don't go. With 300,000 cash, right, there's way more things to buy in Malaysia that will make almost equivalent. Yeah, but unless like I look at it like 18 years down the road for my kids, maybe he's smart enough to go Oxford, right? If not smart enough, then never mind lah. But that's just the in case thing. So I'm still also figuring out. So hope to get more information from your side. And thanks again for coming, Manny. Really appreciate it. And we will hear from you hopefully very, very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah. Thanks. See you guys. Ciao.